Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 16, and we will do verse 4 onwards till the end of the chapter. Now, in this particular chapter, Krishna is talking about the divine and demoniac qualities. Last Sunday, we covered the 26 divine qualities. 26 divine qualities that Krishna explained to Arjuna, and that he said it actually leads to higher platform. The divine qualities helps one to become self-realized and reach the highest perfection of transcendental realization. Now we'll learn more about these qualities in next chapter also, chapter number 17, because these divine qualities, they give liberation to the person. Now Arjuna was a little doubtful about himself. Does he have divine qualities or does he have demoniac qualities? So Krishna told Arjuna that you don't need to worry because you are born with divine qualities. This is what he told him, that you're born with divine qualities. And Arjuna, he was not acting whimsically, right? He was not acting under the influence of anger or pride or false ego. No, not at all. He was born with divine qualities, one of the Pandavas. Now, verse 4 onwards till the end of the chapter, Krishna explains to Arjuna that there are certain undesirable qualities which are actually called demoniac qualities, and these undesirable qualities, they lead to degradation, which means a person falls down. And what are these demoniac qualities? He says those, that is arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, ignorance. All these are undesirable qualities. And he says that these qualities, they lead one on the road to hell. Nobody likes to go to hell, but here Krishna is giving us knowledge so we can understand if we want to avoid going to hell, then we need to make sure that we do not have these undesirable qualities, because these undesirable qualities, they give bondage, and that leads to devastation. You see, in that consciousness, a person doesn't know what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. They are untruthful, they are unclean, and above all, they have no trust in God. They do not believe in God. That is one of the undesirable quality. And their intelligence is lost. And what do they think? I'm the controller, I'm the master of all I survey, I'm the only enjoyer. And such a person, Krishna says, he becomes obsessed by lust, by pride, by false prestige, and just want to increase enjoyment. How I want to work very hard so that I can enjoy unlimitedly. This is their desire. And Prabhupada mentions that they get stung by these desires, and that leads to anxiety, and then it also leads to anger. And their consciousness is that I want to make a lot of money. I want to become very rich. And in the process, it gets completely bound up by Maya. What is Maya? Illusion. And gets so attached to enjoying the senses. And Krishna says this leads one to hell. And deluded by this wealth and false prestige, sometimes they make a show of spiritual life, that, oh, I am so spiritual, I do this and I do that. In fact, such people who have these undesirable qualities, they become envious of God, they become envious of Krishna, and they also start, you can say, blaspheming those who are following the path of Bhakti Yoga, the devotees. And what does Krishna say? He tells Arjuna, I throw such people into the lowest species of life. See? So here we can understand that we are responsible for either degradation or upliftment. It is based on our choices. Whatever actions we perform, we will have to face the reactions. We have to face the consequences, right? And if one does not make an effort to remove these undesirable qualities and try to inculcate divine qualities, then what will happen? One will lose this rare human form of life. And once a person falls down from this human form of life, then we have to go through the whole evolutionary cycle till we come back again to the human form. You see, this is how we have to understand that every action has a reaction. So if we do not want to go through the whole evolutionary cycle, if we want to make the best use of this human form of life, then the best thing is to purify our existence. Best thing is to become self-realized, to understand who am I, and also make a plan so that we can reach the highest platform of self-realization. In fact, get elevated. There is a beautiful verse in this chapter where Krishna tells Arjuna, excuse me, that there are 3 gates that lead to hell. 3 gates: lust, anger, and greed. These are the 3 gates that lead to hell. What is lust? It's nothing but desire to please our own senses, desire with ulterior motive, desire to be the best, desire to get maximum amount of wealth, desire to be famous, desire to be powerful. All these desires, this is nothing but lust. And the main thing is, I want to enjoy all my senses. And that is what Krishna says, that it leads to degradation. You see, in Satya Yuga, there used to be a saying which was Atithi Devo Bhaya, which means the guest that comes to a house is to be treated like God. Then in the next Yuga, Treta Yuga, they started putting outside their house Shubha Labh, which means good luck. Then in Dwapar Yuga, they started putting outside their house Su Swagatam, which means welcome. Now in Kali Yuga, what do they put outside their house? Beware of dogs. See the degradation? By each yuga, there is degradation. And especially in Kali Yuga, as Kali Yuga progresses, there's going to be more degradation. So Prabhupada explains in this particular verse where Krishna talks about 3 gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. He says that if lust is satisfied, then it will lead to greed. Very, very important point. And if that greed is not satisfied, then it leads to anger. You see how the degradation takes place. You see, let's just imagine we throw a pebble in the pond. As soon as we throw a pebble or a stone in the pond, there are ripples. And when there are ripples, a person cannot see the fishes inside the pond. Only when that water will settle down, that one will be able to see the fishes. You know, the water will be clear, no more ripples, and then a person will be able to see. You see, so what are these pebbles? they are like our circumstances, our situations. And these situations and circumstances, they are thrown into the pond of our consciousness. Just imagine, you see. And then there are ripples of agitation. Because of the circumstances, a person becomes very agitated. And when there are ripples and there is agitation, then we cannot see the fishes. That means we cannot see the situation as it is. So a person needs to stay calm. And to stay calm, Krishna is advising Arjuna that the anger needs to be controlled. You see, very, very important. In fact, scientifically it is proved that when a person gets angry, there is a chemical reaction in the body, which is not good. Because that takes away hours and hours of sleep, which is not good for health. You see, let's say we pick a fireball, right? Red hot fireball. And I pick up this ball and I want to throw it at someone because I'm very angry at somebody. So I pick up a fireball and I try to throw. Who will get burned first? I will get burned first because I'm holding the fireball. This is what anger does. It first damages us before it creates any damage for anybody else. You see, many cells in the body get destroyed because of anger. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that a person who is very intelligent, a sane person, avoids all these three gates leading to hell. What are those three gates? Lust, anger, and greed. These are the three gates. So an intelligent person escapes those gates. How? By becoming self-realized. And when we understand who we are, where do we come from, why are we suffering, where do I go from here, when we start inquiring and start understanding and taking this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and putting it into practice, then gradually Krishna says one attains the supreme destination. You see? See, lust, anger and greed, they are unwanted things. They are called anarthas. They are unwanted. We should remove, if it's in our heart, then we need to remove these unwanted things. How? By mantra meditation. You see, those who have these undesirable qualities, they do not believe in scriptures, they do not believe in God, they just go by their own speculation. So what is the result? Krishna tells Arjuna that those who do not follow the scriptures, those who do not believe in God, what happens? They achieve no perfection, they do not attain happiness, and definitely they do not attain the supreme destination. So there are consequences, right? Every action has a reaction. So based on our actions that we are performing, based on that, we get our reaction. So it's important to understand what is our prescribed duty, what are the scriptures, what knowledge are the scriptures giving us, how to follow the scriptures, how to act according to the laws of the Supreme Lord. So as we learned last Sunday about those 26 divine qualities, so when we start cultivating these divine qualities, then that will bring happiness. Happiness cannot be bought by money. Many times people think, oh, money brings happiness. No, the money does not bring. If that was so, then why is it that so many rich people are still not happy? Right? So undesirable qualities, they lead to degradation, but divine qualities, that take us to the highest platform of perfection. So now we have a choice. We human beings, we have philosophical intelligence by which we can read, we can hear, we can take guidance, we can get trained, we can understand, and we can put these divine qualities, cultivate them in ourselves if we still don't have them, right? So it's very, very important that we make the best use of this human form of life, which is very rare, right? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhai. Krishna says, out of thousands, only one tries for perfection. And out of thousands who have attained perfection, hardly one knows Krishna in truth. So it's our duty as a human being to make the best use of this rare human form, to understand that this human form is not for eat, sleep, and be merry. No, we have to use our intelligence and understand how to develop these divine qualities, how we can practice mantra meditation, and somehow or the other elevate ourselves, right? Elevate ourselves and qualify ourselves. Just like when we want to visit another country, we have to follow their rules. First of all, we have to get knowledge about what are the requirements. Is there a visa required? If yes, what do I need to do to get the visa, to fill out the forms, medical forms, or whatever it may be? We have to fulfill those requirements, and only then the visa is stamped on our passport, and only then we are allowed to go into that country. So similarly, if we want to go to the spiritual world, we need to qualify ourselves. We need to find out, what do I need to do? What is it that will give me a visa stamp on my passport, the stamp for the spiritual world that will help me to go back. Now the question may arise, why do I want to go back? Well, the reason we want to go back to the spiritual world is so that we do not experience any more miseries, right? Birth, disease, old age, death, all these miseries, they do not exist in the spiritual world. So a sane person, this is what Krishna is telling Arjuna in this chapter, that a person who is sane, a person who is intelligent, will develop divine qualities and qualify oneself to go back to the spiritual world at the end of this human form of life. So with this, we end chapter number 16, where Krishna talked about the divine and the demoniac qualities. And there is going to be no class next Sunday. We won't have a class next Sunday, but Sunday after next, we will continue with Bhagavad Gita and chapter number 17. So thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Hare Krishna.